day, people won't remember what you said or did. They will remember how you made them feel.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Slowinski, owner of Bridgewater Lifestyle magazine, here with Jeralyn Lawrence in Watchung, New Jersey. She is the owner of Lawrence Law.
Hi.
Thank you for having us today. Your office is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love it. We love it here. So very happy with the decor.
How long have you been in this space?
A little over 2 years now. Yeah,
Wow.
2 years. Well, January will be 3 years. So yeah, it's exciting. Happy about it. But thank you for coming. Thank you for allowing me to spend some time with you and do this interview. It's exciting. Always fun to spend time with you. So thank you.
Yeah, we always have a good time.
We always do. Never a lack of fun. So I appreciate it.
Can you tell our audience a little bit about your background?
So I'm a divorce and family law attorney. Started Lawrence Law, like I said, January of 19. Was at a bigger firm in Somerset County, Norris McLaughlin for the first 25 years of my career. All I do is, me and my team, what we specialize in is divorce and family law. I got my roots, got my training through my father. He's a retired police detective. I grew up in Wayne, New Jersey, and really am a daughter of a police officer, always talking law with my dad. So I knew very early on that I wanted to be a lawyer. I thought for sure I would be a prosecutor. That's really what I wanted to do. I saw the movie The Burning Bed with Farrah Fawcett. Did you ever see that movie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought I would be prosecuting.
That's from when we were young,
Well,
right?
we were young, but she was a victim of domestic violence and ended up killing her spouse. And so I had no idea that was an epidemic in our country. So I was very fascinated by that. I thought I would be a prosecutor, but ended up in Seton Hall in their family law clinic and got on my feet through the clinic, was in court, loved that experience, loved arguing motions, and have been practicing divorce and family law ever since 1997.
Wow. And you guys were recently named one of the best places to work by NJ Biz.
We were. Very exciting, really exciting award.
What makes this a great place to work?
So for anybody that's on Facebook, they may see, and they're friends with Lawrence Law, they may see our Friday Feeling videos. I think
I've been watching those.
Yeah. So you comment on those. I think that really has turned into, the epitome of what we are. We are very much a work hard, play hard law firm. We work very hard, but when it's time to have fun, we really like to have fun. We also genuinely like each other. My philosophy has always been, you are here at work more than you're anywhere else. I spend more time with people here than I do my spouse, my kids, unfortunately, but it's just true. And so it's important to be surrounded by really good people. And I'm fortunate that that's what I'm surrounded by. So I think that's why I think people like coming to work. This is a stressful job. But
It's hard to make divorce law fun.
It is hard to make divorce law fun. It's serious, and I've been divorced before, so I can relate to what people are going through and how painful and scary and fearful people are. So it's important that they know we're working hard. But I also think it's important for them to know, we're doing our best, but we're also human too, and we need some downtime just like they do. It's stressful. So we're working better for them when we're able to be refreshed, recharged, and have a good time. So hopefully that's our atmosphere. I think that it is. Everyone on my team, we've been together a long time. We left our prior firm together as a team and started this firm, and it's just continuing to grow. We added Amy Shamal and Amy Wexler recently. They're fabulous, wonderful additions. So lucky to have them. So it's really just been great.
So you've mentioned you've been in this field a long time.
Yeah.
What kind of changes have you seen as a result of the pandemic?
The pandemic has been such a blessing in a lot of ways. And I don't mean to minimize people's suffering and everyone's loss, and that's very sobering, and that's hard. But there have been silver linings throughout the practice of law. And what I've been saying is I think we all need to be careful and think long and hard with what we want to go back to. And so the ability to use Zoom has been fabulous for clients and divorce lawyers. Clients, I can't tell you how many clients I have met on their lunch breaks sitting in their car. They don't have to take days off of work. They don't have to line up childcare. So that has alleviated a lot of stress for their ability to communicate with us, not lose money. I think it's made us much more efficient. So therefore their court appearances and their divorce processes are much more inexpensive. When we sign on to Zoom, generally speaking, the judge is waiting or ready for us, so there's not a lot of downtime. When you're in court, oftentimes court's bringing in 20 cases, so you have 40 lawyers sitting in the courtroom, 40 litigants, and you're number 20.
Do you think that's here to stay?
I think a lot of it is very much here to stay. I think trials will go back in person, particularly complicated trials with a lot of evidence, maybe forensic accountants or custody evaluators. And when you're trying to introduce a lot of documentary evidence, I think it's easier to do that in trial, in person. But I think a lot is here to stay. So which I'm thrilled about. I think we'll do a lot of case management conferences, settlement conferences will stay on Zoom. And the Supreme Court has actually issued an order recently saying that many of these things will be staying virtually or by phone, which I think is a welcomed change.
I think it's something you couldn't even imagine.
Could not
2
even
years
imagine.
ago, like we could go to court online, what?
Well, I remember those early days of the pandemic, being terrified, worrying about my business, wondering if we're going to go out of business. Is there even going to be a business to come back to? If you can take yourself back to those early days, right, where everyone was afraid, I think, of getting sick, dying, what were we going to do? And we were literally on shutdown. And it's just amazing that Zoom, and I think it was around a little bit beforehand, but just Zoom appeared and just made practice of law so much easier and manageable.
Do you feel the stress and the amount of time people were spending together during the pandemic even led to more divorces?
I do. It's very busy right now. But it was never not busy, just issues were different. In the beginning of the pandemic, we were spending a lot of time over parenting time disputes. One spouse was not adhering to CDC guidelines. They were not locked down. They were still going out, and they were not exercising what the other parent deemed as enough safety precautions. So we were having a lot of parenting time issues. Then it morphed into change in circumstances financially. People lost their jobs, and so alimony or child support was impacted. Now, there's certainly we are feeling an uptick in actual divorce, where the pandemic was just the straw that broke the camel's back. And it's either spending too much time together or really just not being aligned in their view of the pandemic and how people reacted to the scare of it and how to treat their family and how to treat their kids. So, some of these marriages where there was a little crack, the pandemic has shown that divorce was the way. But I saw that a lot in 9/11, and it was funny. A lot of people after 9/11 said that they thought the reaction to 9/11 where people were going to take stock in their marriage and say, hey, we really want to stay married. Look what those families, the tragedy that happened. I saw the exact opposite. I saw people say, you know what, life is short, and I just watched a horrific event, and I want to be happy. And that's usually the number one motivator is life is short and I want to be happy, and I wanted to make that next step.
Can you explain a little bit of the difference between mediation, arbitration, when it's better to go one route versus the other?
Sure. So the main goal of any divorce is to reach an agreement, often called a marital settlement agreement or a property settlement agreement. That's the goal. And most people are able to do that. 98% of all people going through a divorce are able to resolve their case. There's different processes available to you to try to do that. Mediation is one. It's a wonderful process. That's where you hire a lawyer who is a neutral third party, and they are the facilitator of the negotiations. So the mediator is in between, and you have the two sides, generally with lawyers, but they use the mediator as that facilitator of the communication. Wonderful process, generally very successful, and it saves time and money, and you reach an agreement. Arbitration is a little bit different. Arbitration is where you select your own judge. So you're hiring your judge. Instead of going to your local county courthouse and waiting in the courtroom with the 40 other cases and the 40 lawyers and 40 litigants or whatever it is, you are hiring your own judge, and you're going into a conference room much like this, and you're trying your case to that arbitrator.
This is actually new information to me. I didn't know you could hire your own judge.
Yeah. Yeah. And it actually saves a lot of time and money because you're booking the judge from 9 to 5, say, successive days, consecutive days. You can do Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and your case is done, as opposed to waiting for your day in court where you get 2 hours one day, then you come back next month, you get another 2 hours the next day. So while people are often intimidated about hiring their own judge or hiring an arbitrator, generally speaking, it's cost savings for them because of the block of time, and you're really hiring very seasoned people to decide your case. So arbitration's wonderful. There's also a process in New Jersey that's used worldwide is a collaborative divorce, where the parties sign a contract and commit themselves to settling their case. And if you can't settle your case, then all the participants to that process have to get new lawyers or new experts. So they're very invested in settling their case. It's a wonderful process for those who are committed to settling their case. But we also do a lot of litigation. That's still probably the bulk of our work, where we're trying to, but even in the litigation process, we're still trying to shepherd a family to resolution. But there's two people that control how long a divorce takes and how much it costs. And that's the two parties in the marriage. When they're ready to reach an agreement and they're ready to settle their case, they can be divorced within 6 to 8 weeks from when they reach an agreement. So they have the keys, and we just try to give them the tools and the ability to get that resolution reached.
So outside of divorce, what other areas does family law cover?
So there's a lot of areas. And one of the biggest areas are non-dissolution cases. People that never got married but have many of the same issues that divorcing people have. They may have kids together, so you still have custody and parenting time issues. You can have child support issues. You can have palimony issues if there were promises for support. You can have domestic violence issues. So we have an entire section of the family law court is devoted to domestic violence. There's DCP&P, formerly known as DIFAS, where there's abuse and neglect allegations or termination of parental rights. There's a whole children in the court section. So it's very broad area of the law.
When someone is seeking out a family attorney, what are some of the things they should consider before deciding who to work with?
Well, it's important to choose wisely and choose the right one. That's why the initial consultation is so very important. One thing you're going to want to know, what is their strategy? Are they worried about your kids? Or are they worried about your kids and you funding your kids' college education, or are they worried about their kids and funding their kids' college education? You know, I mean, there is good and bad in every profession, and mine is not immune. There are good divorce lawyers and there are not so great divorce lawyers. And there are some that are out to make as much money on a file, and most are not. But you're going to want to know that. You're going to want to know what is their strategy. And you're going to want to make sure that your interests align with their interests. You're going to want to know, are they available to you? I mean, we have a 24-hour return call policy, although most people don't even call anymore. We live and die by email, so we on top of emails daily. But you just want to make sure your interests align. It's important the lawyer that you hire is the lawyer that you stay in touch with. You know, many people come into the office and want to retain me, and I work with a team approach. I push as much work down as I can. I have great lawyers here, but I also want to make sure no one feels bait and switch. I want to stay involved in the cases. I'm always involved in the cases. I make strategic decisions in the cases, and we're very much try to utilize a team approach. Some law firms, you go in and you hire the big name and you never see that lawyer ever again. Having been divorced, I know what that feels like. I didn't like that feeling. I don't want anyone to ever feel that way. So everyone here is always a phone call or an email away. And I think that's important for people to know. That's the main thing, and that's the main complaint clients have against their lawyers, is not being able to get in touch with them, not being responsive. And that's really something we pride ourselves on, is being responsive, because we know what it feels like. We know, the fear and the panic that you have when you can't reach your lawyer. So we make sure that that never happens. Now there's a balance, because we're now living in an age where instant messaging and Snapchat and everybody wants.
I hope they're not snapping you.
They're not, but they're used to instant contact. And so that's hard. There's days where I could be doing this, or I could be sitting on Zoom all day in court or in mediation or in arbitration. But someone in my team is here to respond. But that's a hard balance, is to making sure that we get back to people, but clients' expectations also need to be managed. That it's impossible to have an instant messaging relationship, but we try very hard.
So you were recently named president of an organization. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so right now I'm president of the New Jersey chapter of the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers, and I'm president-elect of the New Jersey State Bar Association. I'll be president next year. Yeah.
So you've just got time to be president a little bit everywhere.
Yeah, so it's very exciting. I mean, I was chair of the family law section of the State Bar back in 2014, and we were able to advocate for a lot of legislative change. We were able to change the alimony law, change the alimony statute. We were able to enact the Collaborative Law Act, where that practice is now codified legislatively. So that ability to effectuate change is just a wonderful feeling. A lot of people complain about issues, but when you're in leadership roles like that and working with great people in both organizations, you can really effectuate change. So I'm very excited about that. I mean, at the Academy, just last week, a great case came out on cohabitation, and we were able to lobby to ask the Supreme Court to make that a published decision. And what that means is that that decision is now binding on all other lawyers in the practice of law in New Jersey. So that's exciting. The New Jersey State Bar Association is also a wonderful resource and ability to advocate and effectuate change. So that's why I'm involved. That's really what I like to do. My goal is to try to make the practice better for lawyers. This is a very hard job, and we have a lot of resources available for lawyers to manage stress and mindfulness and wellness programs. I really want to look at why are lawyers so stressed? Why do we even need mindfulness programs? Why do we need wellness programs?
I am not surprised they are stressed.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, people have some of the worst problems in their life that they've never anticipated or asked for, and they come to you to solve them. And so, you start living their problem. And you sleep thinking about it, you dream about it, you're in the shower thinking about it. So it's a burden, it's a heavy weight on you to try to help care for and take care of your clients. And so it's stressful, and we have a lot of programs out there to help lawyers, but I'd like to also get to the root of why is there so much stress.
I'd imagine people might not be at their finest moments either sometimes when they're working with you because of the stress they're going under.
Absolutely. They are absolutely not. We are dealing with some of the best people at the worst times in their life. And there is nothing more, I can't tell you how many clients I have met that can't even get through an initial consult with me. They are sobbing. They're angry. They are so upset. And then by the time we're done and their divorce is concluded or their matter is concluded, they're a different person. Because as you're hurting, you're healing too. And every day, you're getting stronger and getting more clarity. But there's nothing more satisfying than a year, 2 years, 6 months after they're proceeding to get a letter from them and they say how well they're doing, or I connect with them on Facebook or some other social media and they're happy. And so that's really what we're trying to do, is to take a really bad situation, stressful situation for them, and to try to give them a new path, a new outlook in their life.
Is there anything else you'd like our audience to know about Lawrence Law?
We are here for anybody who has any divorce or family law needs, specializing in litigation, mediation, arbitration, collaborative divorce. So if you have any needs, we're here to help, and you have our pledge and commitment to try to make this process, whatever path we have to go down as seamless, as painless as possible, but know that you have an advocate on your side, someone that's going to be there for you to fight for you, but also guide you to help you reach resolution. The biggest thing, though, if you're struggling with this decision, as what I say to my clients is you go to bed by yourself every night and you wake up in the morning by yourself. And so you have one person to report to, and that's yourself. And eventually, if you're struggling with a decision will emerge. And just be prepared. Gather documents. Information is power. I mean, I can eventually get all the financial documents, but the more financial information you can gather and empower yourself, the better. And then we're here to try to help them navigate their life strategically, compassionately to a better place.
Well, Jeralyn, thank you for having us here today. Tiffany Slowinski of Bridgewater Lifestyle signing off from Lawrence Law.